This is the 60-Minute Time Limit Pro Wrestling Podcast with Tommy.
Hang on to your butts. We might go the full 60 minutes here.
Taco.
I want some fucking beer cans. I want a bong. I want some bowls. I want just fucking a line of weed on the fucking table. I want chips on the table.
And Joe.
Weird question. Is Jinder Mahal a cruiserweight?
Oh my God! It's been, how long has it been? It's been months and months and months. It's Tommy Stryker here, and Joe is with me over there on the other side of the line there.
How's it going?
And this is of course, the 60-minute time limit pro wrestling podcast. All right, so that's enough of that.
There's a good gimmick.
We were just talking before the show here, Joe, and Taco was, by the way, going to join us, but he was having so many computer problems. He couldn't get his computer to work. He couldn't get his mouse to work. His phone was at 20%. He had every excuse in the book. Taco, why didn't you make it work? But, Taco.
We miss you.
We miss Taco. We want to be talking wrestling with Taco, but he might pop in. So we left the door open. We gave him the link to the Hangouts or whatever. He might pop in. We'll see. But we've been waiting for over an hour, so we just decided to do it anyway. Joe, it's been too long. When the hell did we record this thing last? We were talking before the show.
Late August. It had been right before AEW All Out, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we labeled that show as like the All Out preview or something. You had just started like a beard contest with Taco for one reason or another.
I have to say I report strong earnings right now.
Have you seen Taco lately? How's his beard doing?
It's looking good. See, we're going for two different kinds of beards here.
Okay.
I'm going for basically the big mountain man. I want size, and he's going for the sleekness of the beard. So it's going to be an interesting contest.
Okay. How does one achieve sleekness in a beard? I've never tried to grow a beard myself. I've always been a dork of the 90s. I've got the goatee going on to this day. So I'm not familiar too much with a beard. How do you maintain a sleek beard? Do you get advice from Commander Riker? What do you do with this? How do you
Honestly, keep it simple. You just got to wash the thing.
Okay.
And then beard oil every once in a while. It just helps shape it, as they say.
So, but at the end of the day, we talked about this 6 months ago when you started the beard off or whatever. This is the countdown to Bill and Ted 3, I believe.
Correct. Face the music.
And are you guys going for just? Is it? How do you determine the winner in this thing? Is it length? Is it girth?
We're gonna let other people decide. We're gonna post ups and probably just go off of votes, see what people's opinions are, and we're gonna go from there. Probably end up just being a stupid Twitter poll.
Okay. I thought about we haven't done a podcast in about over 6 months. It feels like since August, and I thought about throwing it out there to the Twitterverse. Hey, people, we're going to record a podcast tonight. Give us some topics to discuss, some things, maybe some questions. But then I realized, well, I never tweet. Probably nobody who follows me is actually paying attention to what I say. And the fact that we haven't produced any content in 6 months means that probably nobody gives a fuck. So we're going to record this. We're going to put it out there. And I don't know, maybe a couple of you will listen to it. And thank you for listening.
Absolutely.
If you do. But I've made this podcast that we do every once in a great while, basically almost impossible to find because quite simply when we started our other podcast years and years ago, we were on a different platform. We were on Libsyn. Then when I restarted this one, the 60-minute time limit podcast, I moved it over to Podbean. And since we stopped recording regularly 6 months ago, I moved it over to another format, which is free, so I don't have to perpetually continue paying for something that I'm not using. I moved it to a free service called Red Circle. So I'm making the feed basically as difficult to find as possible. But if you subscribed to the last 60-minute time limit feed, that should seamlessly move over to the new feed, hopefully. But this being the first time we've used this service in 6 months, who knows? So I will know more in a few days once I post this thing and get everything set up. But in true form of the podcast, we're supposed to keep this thing to 60 minutes, and in order to do that, we have to throw it to the referee Red Shoes to ring the bell. There we go. And then the 60-minute...
And it has begun.
The time limit is underway. Joe, I want to kind of throw to you right off the bat because you kind of been the one in the text conversation between myself and Taco. You've been bringing it up a little bit more than the rest of us. Like, I want to get back in front of microphones and talk some wrestling. So what's been on your mind? And don't get me wrong, it's not that I haven't really wanted to, but I definitely don't have the motivation to be a content creator like I used to, because in order to have like a successful podcast, now you got to do YouTube, you got to have a Patreon and be constantly providing content. And I just don't have it in me. Don't get me wrong. I love doing this podcast. And the thing I love the most is just hanging out with you and Taco and talking wrestling. So,
and that's the best part. So, and I think that translates to what we're trying here. And yeah, sure, we're not some, famous podcast thing, but it's not like we're sitting here trying to be those guys either.
At this point, I think I'll be happy if 20 people listen to this. So,
well, and if we were more consistent, I think we all just kind of, got into a lull there, Taco with the jobs and everything.
Right.
We just had to figure stuff out.
For sure. So who knows? I mean, again, not making any promises here. I'm not saying we're going to come back every week and do this, but, the possibility is there. So, and that's the thing is we haven't done this in 6 months, but I haven't torn down my podcast studio. I still have this thing collecting dust in my basement. So it's still here. So I'm still willing to do it once in a while as long as it's fairly stress-free and it's not taking up time away from my lovely wife on the weekend and stuff like that. Like I've kind of reprioritized things because there was a time there when we were doing like 2 podcasts in one night and I was watching so much fucking wrestling, and I kind of had to have a come down to earth moment where it's like, okay, let's prioritize. Let's figure out what you really like to watch, and let's try to figure out a way to fit that into your life in a way it's not so goddamn disruptive. And that's kind of where I'm at now, as I'm watching the things that I really enjoy, and I'm missing out on some things that I would like to be watching, but just quite frankly, just don't have the time because, of life and everything.
I 100% agree. And that's the same thing. It was like, for me, it was kind of the opposite. Whereas you were putting in so much time, I felt like I couldn't put in enough time between, because again, I have a long commute for work. I'm driving hour 45, 2 hours a day. Ooh. Regularly for a commute, but then you throw in like podcasts and then trying to watch a 3-hour Raw or even just like a pay-per-view, and then it's like I want to go enjoy myself to concerts and stuff like that, which I do, but then like I'm literally missing shows. I was at a concert for Motion City Soundtrack on Sunday when NXT was on, so I didn't even get to NXT till 3-4 days later, but I don't see that as a problem anymore. I just like you said, you prioritize. I'll get to it when I get to it. Yeah.
And when we started kind of this version of the podcast, the 60-minute thing, I was completely open to like, look, this is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk about the stuff that I am watching or whatever, and that's kind of what this was. And from the start of this also, it was going to be casual. I just, I didn't necessarily think it was going to be 6 months in between, but it is what it is. And it, when you're not motivated to do it or whatever, that's fine. It just kind of is what it is. So
I just need a reset.
Yeah. And it's not like we're renaming it or anything. That'd be another nightmare.
Let's just rename it just because.
Well, I mean, we could just. I was going to say we could call it the liver podcast, but I can't find our old liver friend soundbite at the moment. So.
Oh man! But I see a new person in the corner of that screen.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
I can hear you.
I hear you a little bit, Taco. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Now? Woo!
Yeah, maybe turn down just a little bit. Taco is chiming in here, so
we have Taco on satellite.
Satellite.
He's currently in parts unknown, still looking for the Ultimate Warrior, not knowing he died.
Yeah, he died?
I can't remember. Had Taco when the last time we recorded back in August? Had you already moved to Shelbyville at that point, or was that
No, that was in September. I did the move.
Okay, so it was like right after that. So we
That was right after that.
Right on. You could probably still turn down just a tad, and then we might be okay.
How does that sound? Butthole.
That's better.
That's much better. And since we're on Hangouts here, we're talking kind of on-air production meeting here as we're recording. Let's if everybody tries not to talk over each other, because then this Hangouts thing, it garbles a lot, so that can be a problem. So I was just about to throw to Joe because he's been kind of the one chiming in, wanting to talk some wrestling. So what's kind of been on your mind the most that you've been wanting to talk about wrestling-wise, Joe?
NXT, and then the cruiserweights in general too. Like, all of it has just been amazing matches. You're getting amazing promos, and again, like every time I think that like they're gonna like drain to the main roster, like they keep replacing with better people, and then you bring in the fact that you got Finn Balor coming back, you got multiple people coming back to NXT. Like, I love what they're doing on that show.
Yeah, NXT, I haven't been watching as much NXT as I'd like. Again, prioritizing the things that I want to watch, whatever, blah, blah, blah. For me, it's mostly been like AEW and New Japan. But I've heard a lot of good things about NXT, and is that Joe kind of what you're primarily getting into these days, is just NXT?
Just basically NXT, and then I've actually just here and there still been catching the MLW show on YouTube.
Oh, for sure.
I've been trying to get to NWA Power just to see, because it's got that really classic feel from some of the clips I've been seeing. That's just one I haven't been able to get to.
Yeah, I've been watching some NWA Power. I was into it in the fall there and watched up to the Into the Fire pay-per-view, but after that, I've kind of fallen out. Not because of any reason. I just haven't had time to get to it. Taco, what have you been kind of getting into lately?
All of the above. Still, I just kind of kink them up for a couple of weeks, kind of just binge watch all of them in one go. So yeah, like Joe said, NXT's been on point. NXT UK's been super fucking fun to watch. I'm still one of the 5 people that are watching Ring of Honor.
And Taco, I'm going to ask you just to turn down just a little bit more, because we're getting a little bit of feedback coming through. Let's see if that helps at all.
Yeah, turn that shit down.
Sound.
All right, seems to be helping a little bit now. So cool.
Yeah, it does.
Every time.
Yeah, you're into it. You're like watching NXT UK and all that.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't given up on pro wrestling. There is a lot of negativity out there, fucking, social
it's brutal
in between people, and it's fucking pro wrestling. Get the fuck over yourselves a little bit. Like, Jesus tits. Like, you want the adult product, go watch the adult product. You want to watch your favorites, where they're at, go watch the E. Like, it's all what it is. It's all fun. It's quit taking shit so serious out there. Like, I'm having fun with it all. Like I said, I'm still having fun with Ring of Honor even. So it's just fun to tune in, seeing what wrestling is today. And, even when we were first doing a podcast, years ago now, it wasn't even like this then. So it's beautiful where it's at right now. The shitty people are getting weeded out. Like NWA, for example, like Cornette was very controversial to put in that announcer's position, and fucking said one thing, and they made an audible, they got rid of him, and they brought in Wade Barrett. Fucking awesome. Or Stu Bennett.
Yeah, he's been good on there the couple times I've seen him. So
I knew Cornette was out, but I didn't know they had replaced him with him. That's awesome.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
it's great to see him back in the wrestling world. It's great to see this little fucking hole in the wall corner thing because I if I remember correctly, I remember Billy Corrigan was, he had a good indie streak going on, or he's dipping his head in the wrestling business, and unfortunately all that Impact shit happened and kind of tarnished both of their names, and he kind of he's showing, hey, no, I love wrestling, I want to go old school with this, like this is what wrestling should be like. Just have fun, just let loose a little bit, and fucking like their promo packages are awesome, like the interviews.
Go ahead, Taco.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's YouTube, utilize YouTube. That's one thing I like that was it MLW's on there?
Yep.
NWA is rocking it, and then fucking I don't know how much you guys have been watching AEW Dark, but
for sure,
hardcore on there. It's like you got motherfuckers are on YouTube. Like, come on now.
I'm actually more into AEW Light.
You gotta go with that dark mode. Everyone goes dark mode nowadays.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've kind of gotten away from the negativity. Like I'm off of Twitter most of the time, and when I'm on there, I'm ignoring all that stuff or blocking it, and I'm just like, whatever, like what you like. I'm hearing good things about like Raw and SmackDown here and there, but I'm just not interested, and I don't really have the time. So if something sounds good, yeah, I'll check it out, but I'm not like mad at the WWE. I'm not mad at people that like WWE. I just don't have time for it. And one of the key reasons I canceled my network subscription is I'm just not watching the stuff. I'm watching other stuff, and so I just don't need to pay the $10 a month. It's not that I'm mad it's because of 100 different reasons why I'm not into what's going on SmackDown. I'm not into what's going on Raw, and so therefore I'm just not into what's going on the WWE network. And especially with NXT being on USA Network now, I can DVR that and just watch it on the TV. Oh, go ahead, Taco.
That bothers me so much. That's hurt my NXT watching, actually.
I agree.
Like it was nice to be able to pop it on Wednesday, Thursday, and not have to wait till Friday, Saturday to watch it.
And it's 2 hours now.
See, I will say I'm lucky. I've got Sprint, so I've got Hulu for free. So I can watch NXT and Raw and SmackDown the next day, cut down, which is still really nice.
Cut down. That's one thing I've always preached over the time of our podcast is that fast forward button is your best friend for any promotion.
Yeah, that's how you get through them undercard matches on New Japan for sure.
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, no, it's just fucking everywhere. It's just like,
oh man,
that 15-second skip, perfect. That does so much for a wrestling match sometimes.
I want to go back to, NWA lost a good one in that Timothy Thatcher, man. I was excited to see he spoiler alert, he shows up at NXT Portland. just hanging out in the crowd, doesn't do really much, just looks angry like he should.
How'd you watch that, Joe? I thought you didn't have a network.
I do have the network back.
Okay.
That was me. I did re-up.
No, I had canceled it. I had canceled it for a good little while.
Oh, okay.
I know you did.
I re-upped for the Royal Rumble that was a really fun show.
Oh yeah.
Really enjoyed that, and then I was gonna watch the NXT show from last weekend, but I just didn't get around to it. And then I canceled the network again right after Royal Rumble, and then so it expired like yesterday or today or something, I think. So I'm not going to get around to watching it, but I'm already like 2 shows behind on New Japan stuff that I want to watch. So I there's no shortage of great content. Like yesterday, there is an Ishii and Shingo Takagi never open weight title match that I want to see from Korakuen Hall. So, and nice. I heard that was just a banger. So I'm really excited to tune into that real soon.
Yeah, I've been watching all that New Japan live.
Are they still pumping out as much content? Like they were pumping it out a lot.
Yeah, the World Tag League at the end of 2019 kind of is what it is. You kind of duck in and out of that, check out some highlights, and then Wrestle Kingdom rolls around, and you got that, and you get all kinds of awesome content from. And this year they had 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom, so there was that, and then they did New Year's Dash the night after the 2 Wrestle Kingdom shows. Then you get like a couple weeks off where they do like Fantasticamania, where it's kind of like you can pick and choose or watch it if you're into it. And then the last couple of weeks or so has been kind of this the New Beginning stuff. So there've been plenty of shows to check out with New Japan, and they've been chugging along. And you got fucking Jon Moxley, who's one of the biggest stars in AEW, doing stuff in New Japan all the time right now. I've just been really digging. He's the fucking IWGP US champ. And so
Nice.
he just had a match with fucking Minoru Suzuki, which was fucking amazing. And then after the match, after he beats Minoru Suzuki, fucking Zack Sabre Jr. comes out and fucking attacks him. And, you get these fucking awesome backstage promos from Zack Sabre and Jon Moxley.
Of the human fucking udon noodle, Zack Sabre Jr.
Fucking Zack Sabre Jr. talking shit about Moxley, like Mox is great at beating up a guy in a bar fight or in just a fist fight or whatever, but this is professional wrestling, Jon Moxley, and I'm a better professional wrestler than you.
And yeah, in a bar fight, Jon Moxley would knock me in my ass in seconds. In a death match, he'd leave me for dead, bleeding like a stuck pig, wouldn't he? But in a professional wrestling match, Jonathan, have you got the techers to beat me? Because I don't think you have, darling. Huh? Jonathan Moxley. You want to come after my team? You beat 2 of my teammates so far. It's not going to be lucky third. I've been the British wrestling heavyweight champion and British wrestling legend for years now. I'm moving on to IWGP Gold. And I'm starting the United States of America, because what a mess that country is. You need a new president, and his name's Zack Sabre Jr.
ZSJ for president. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely, 2020.
ZSJ versus The Rock is going to get interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Could you imagine Zack Sabre Jr. in a debate with like Bernie Sanders or something like that? I mean, they would agree on a bunch of stuff probably.
He would be calling them horrible names the whole time. It'd be great.
Do you have
me a Zack Sabre Jr. promo?
Do you have the techas? And when he's doing this promo, he's like leaning back in a chair with like his feet up on the table. It's just great.
So I've got to talk about my Royal Rumble experience, because I've always talked about playing a drinking game with the Royal Rumble, but I've never actually done it. Well, this year at 9:30 in the morning on Monday,
drinking. I like this.
Me and my wife, who read a book, but she followed the rules as long as I was drinking, proceeded to take a sip of beer every time someone entered the ring, took a sip of beer every time someone was thrown out of the ring, and then take a sip every time someone hits a finisher inside the ring.
Did you do both Rumble matches?
Just the men's. Okay. I did watch the women's, but like I only did that for the men's. And yeah. And then I made a separate rule because I thought it was very unlikely that I said if CM Punk or Edge enter the Royal Rumble, you have to finish your drink no matter where you're at. And then Edge came in and I had like half a beer left and it was already 21 and I was wasted at like 10:30 in the goddamn morning.
Way to do it.
Oh man, it like once you get to number 30 and the last person enters, you're at least like, oh thank God. Not every 90 seconds at least.
So what was for lunch? A nap?
Yeah, we literally both went to sleep for a good 4 to 6 hours.
Nice.
It was a great time.
I don't know where to go from there.
Right? It's a tough follow.
Taco, you keeping up with New Japan?
Yeah, every now and then. I don't really sleep much anymore, so I'm usually up when it's on.
Nice.
Heard Kent is killing it over there.
Oh, fuck,
Retirement.
Oh, go ahead,
What?
Taco.
What did Joe say? What'd you call me?
Kent is killing it over there, right?
The guy for the Twins?
Yeah.
It's just a baseball joke.
Hold on. Where is it here? How about this one?
I'd buy that for $1.
I actually think that was the last podcast I was on with y'all. Was us talking about RoboCop.
That was a while ago. Yeah, fucking Kenta has been killing it over there. I mean, dude, the way they built up to Naito winning the titles at Wrestle Kingdom, the titles. I mean, I was talking about this a couple years ago over on when we were doing Strong Honor, and Naito fucking trashed the old IC belt, and then Tanahashi won it, and then they busted out the new version of the IC belt that kind of looked like a cheap replica. And I'm like, dude, I was like, what's that? Hang on, try one more time.
Nope, moment's gone.
But no, seriously, wasn't I talking about this like a couple years ago that they're going to unify these titles at some point? I thought it was going to be 2 years ago or whatever, but they finally did it here. So
Long gone.
yeah, and it's like we always talk about with New Japan. It's all about, you know, taking your time with the story. And so I love that fucking Naito did it over the 2 nights at Wrestle Kingdom. He's the double champ now, and he didn't get his I love the story because he didn't get to do his Los Ingobernables, you know, roll call at the end of the match at Wrestle Kingdom. And so now the story for me, what I think is going to happen this year is he's going to go around Japan and around the world defending the championships and doing the roll call in all the buildings. And is he going to get to do it at Wrestle Kingdom next year? That's kind of what I'm feeling with Naito. But oh man,
Year?
what's that?
You think he's going to keep both straps for the year?
I think that's part of the story. I think it's going to be him going around and doing roll calls, and can he do it back in the dome again? I mean, they could change course. You never know, but you know, it just feels like it's going to be Naito. But are you not feeling the Naito thing, or you think they're going to go a different direction? What's your thoughts, Taco?
Think about him keeping both straps for a whole year. I like that. Dude, motherfuckers earn patience. What is it, fucking 7-8 year time fucking story arc with him doing this shit? Like,
It's
crazy. It's fucking crazy. Look, it paid off.
Well, and he deserves it, man. He's been working his ass off.
Yeah,
He's been putting on great matches with everybody.
Yeah, he puts on great matches. He's the LIJ stuff just sells huge in Japan. Like, he's hugely popular in Japan. So
A coworker of mine about how LIJ teams up with fucking baseball team, the Carps. You know, that's their shit over there. It's awesome.
yep, for sure. So I mean, before I was kind of spouting off there on Naito rocking the championships all year, what were you kind of thinking, Taco, that maybe Okada would win it back or build up somebody else to win it, or what do you think?
I'm more focused on that the Intercontinental Championship. Like, him holding on to the main champ is believable for the year, but like, there's other up and comers, you know, other title defenses, but it's kind of a good way to keep that on the back burner and bring up the U.S. title too.
Yeah, because I think it's too hard to go back to, because how do you separate the two without doing like some nonsensical, you know, Monday Night Raw bullshit storyline? Because it wouldn't make sense, like to separate that. You're just going to defend one title now, or you're just going to defend the other one. I think these titles are forever united now, and they just and now the object is to elevate the never open weight and the U.S. title.
I don't think that'll be the case with those two, because it'll be a good way to, you know, if you get a heated story going on with those two, you can have Naito saying, well, if you can beat me for the Intercontinental, you can have your shot at this. And like,
I like that.
Yeah, and I was thinking the other day too. They're drastically changing the schedule this year because Taco, go ahead and turn down just a little bit more because we're still getting a little bit of that feedback. I was gonna say New Japan's changing the schedule this year because Tokyo is hosting the Summer Olympics. So they're moving the G1 Climax to September and October. So usually in October, it's like the Super Junior Tag League. So I was thinking maybe what they'll do is move the Super Junior Tag League to the summer and build up to that. They're doing a big show at Madison Square Garden in late August, like August 22nd. But another thing I thought of was like, what if they do not quite a G1 style tournament, but some kind of tournament, maybe a one-block tournament that builds up to that Madison Square Garden show where maybe somebody gets a shot at the IC title. That was kind of a thought I had in there.
For sure, because that's still a prestigious title, and there's still going to be people hungry for it too. Like, what's his face? Fucking Ospreay right now, officially declaring himself as a heavyweight. So let's one into the heavyweight.
Yeah, for sure, and he's been killing it too.
And if someone
had great matches,
Intercontinental Championship, what's stopping someone as cocky as him? Be like, I pinned your ass. Now give me a shot at that. I'm a heavyweight.
Right. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, that's another good thing. But again, I don't think that they're going to separate the titles now that they put them together, especially since like I said, like the IC title is almost looks like a replica. They did the same thing with the IWGP title too, is because that title was kind of starting to look ragged, and so all of a sudden Okada comes out with a new IWGP title, but it kind of looks like a replica too, almost. So it still looks good, but it kind of looks like a replica. So I'm kind of thinking that they're going to come out with a new belt at some point and keep these belts unified.
All right.
I would love that. I mean, I think that would be a great story to tell through the entire year. Like you said, if he keeps them both. I kind of agree with Taco, even though I'm out of the New Japan scene and I haven't been watching as much as you guys. But like, I think there's too much prestige for both of those titles to keep them unified like that. I think and like you said, you can use that Intercontinentals for up and coming heavyweights and stuff like that.
Yeah, quite possibly. But again, I think you can elevate those other titles that they have. Like a big complaint that a lot of people had was that they had too many titles with the U.S. title and the Never title. So I think if you keep those titles strong, they can kind of take the place of that. But who knows? They could go any direction. So.
I mean, do they still have the 3-man?
Yeah, they still have those too. So
get rid of those.
Definitely don't separate the titles like Greason though. Like you're right about do it from a year from now. In Tokyo, around Tokyo Dome time, like. That's almost like main event worthy. The G1 Climax winner, or facing the Intercontinental Championship for the main event against Naito. Instead, put your briefcase on the line kind of mentality. There's so many options there, and for this whole the rest of the year right now, you can up the Never Open weight, you can up the U.S. Championship, you can focus more on those. You don't have to, like I said. IC's on the back burner right now, which is kind of nice. But like I said, someone like an Ospreay, he's going to be hungry for something like that.
For sure. Well, another theory I've heard too from some people is that instead of the G1 being for like a briefcase, it would be for like for the Intercontinental. So whoever wins the G1 gets the Intercontinental title, and then every year at the Dome they have the double title match or whatever, and then whoever wins that gets to hold both titles like through the G1 or something like that.
So many wonderful options. It's almost like wrestling can do almost anything. It's weird.
Silence.
That was a failed joke.
Climax.
Old school.
Well, anyway, I'm really excited for this Ishii and Shingo match from yesterday.
I'm glad that's where that thought we came all the way back to that.
Yes.
Was that on the retirement show?
No, the retirement show was 2 nights ago. They're doing like 4 nights in a row at Korakuen Hall. So
That was the one I watched was the retirement.
okay, the Tiger Hattori one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
damn, he retired?
He's been on like the 6-month retirement tour because like he did like a retirement show when they did like the show in New York a few months ago or whatever it was, and now they're doing his Japan retirement. So
he's Eagles in it. He's just or like Kiss. They keep saying they're going to retire, but they just don't.
yeah. What's really sad is fucking Manabu Nakanishi just retired, and so now I'm not going to get to see Nakanishi and Nagata do their chest bump dance gimmick that they always used to do when they would tag together, and that makes me very sad.
You know
That
who
makes me very sad.
tag team though? Yano and Cabana.
Yes.
How is that?
Well, that's coming up too. Like Yano, Cabana, and who are they tag? They're tag. I can't remember who they're tagging with, but they're going to go for those never 6-man titles. I think
Nice.
in the next couple of days here.
Love me some Yano.
Yeah, him and Colt together they're just a blast to watch. They're both just having fun and they're running around.
For sure. So we were talking before the show, Joe and I, and Joe, unfortunately, you don't have the cable package or your Sling package anymore. So you don't have TNT. So you're not really watching you're not watching much AEW. You're kind of tuned into the NXT thing. It's not that you don't want to watch AEW. It just kind of is what it is, right?
Exactly. I try what I can. I was hoping that maybe it would be on Hulu, but with WWE on there, it's not happening.
Interesting. I wondered because my wife and I have been talking recently about switching TV services because we still have Sling or whatever, and we were thinking about like because there's like an option to do Hulu Live, and I think it can do TNT on there. Or there's like YouTube TV, but it's a little bit more per month, but you get unlimited DVR and it's on there. So there's different options out there, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Sling is dog shit nowadays. Fucking A, how bad is it?
It makes me so sad. Like even when I first got it, like it was amazing, but like it went downhill so fast, and then they took away my Fox Sports North, and that was the last straw.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking about YouTube TV. It's a little more expensive, but I like the idea of that unlimited DVR. Taco, what are you rocking for TV these days?
Oh, nada. I fucked with all those in the past, and honestly, the YouTube one I felt was the best layout wise and streaming wise. Like it felt really good. It felt it was the best bang for your buck and was always consistent. But that's just not the case anymore. But I would definitely try YouTube.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it. Do you? When you were trying that, did it have the DVR feature, and could you record like your local channels and stuff?
I believe it did have the DVR, but I don't remember.
Okay. And
There's only a trial thing on it, and I was like, wow, this one runs really smooth. And the fucking, was it the AT&T DirecTV one? Like, that's the best. It has like everything, every channel on there. It obviously cost the most money.
Right.
And the layout sucked. It was laggy. It was slow. Like, it was just like, come on, you guys. Like, this should be more polished. And it was still newer at the time. But yeah, out of all of them, I thought YouTube was my favorite. I think YouTube though had lower options.
Okay.
Well, and PlayStation View is gone too.
They were pretty dog shit though too.
Yeah, they basically cut and ran on that one. Fail.
10-4.
Very limited audience you got on that though.
Well, so Taco, are you keeping up with what's going on AEW wise, or you just kind of watching Dark on whatever's on YouTube?
I'll tune into Dark every now and then. Most of my AEW action comes on the TVs at work and when we replay it and whatnot. Yeah. And it's fun, like I'm digging it. I keep up with it mostly on Twitter, I'd say, but to me, it's the same shit that he's doing. It really is.
To you, it's the same shit. What?
It's the same shit that the E's doing. It's really nothing special, but it's fun to watch. Like I said, like I'm happy with where wrestling is. I'm for more wrestling. I'm for more talent. I'm for more out there. But it just feels like another wrestling promotion to me. It feel any excitement. It does kind of feel like an elite jack off fest.
Joe, what were you going to say?
Well, and I want to agree with Taco because before I canceled my sling, I did watch the first couple episodes of AEW Dynamite, and while I know you have to build up the stories, I had followed the guys, I had followed the stories leading up into it, and like I just didn't feel like they built on anything. Like it felt slow and lagged, especially on those first shows. But I canceled it after that, and like I said, I've been following the stories, and they've been doing better from what I've seen, but it's not enough to get me to go out and like try to watch the product. Like I can get to it if someday.
They're doing it right, in my opinion, though. Keep it like a slow but hot burn, because most of their talent, the audience that's on basic cable is not going to know who the fuck they are. Most of those people are not going to know. What my favorite thing so far they've done is fucking sign Jeff Cobb. Fucking right, sign Jeff Cobb.
Well, they haven't signed him. He's technically a free agent, but and he's
smelly.
That's my example. Average people, they're not going to know who a Jeff Cobb is, or even an MJF or whatever. Like, they know Jericho, they know Omega, they know the Bucks, and Swagger.
Jeff Cobb is one powerful motherfucker.
So they're doing I think they are doing the proper thing of the slow burn, introducing the characters, showing them off, just having them have some fun. It's I know a lot of people are kind of harping about Omega right now and how he's kind of not like the biggest star he could be right now, and that's not the joy of a Kenny Omega. The joy of a Kenny Omega was the upcoming of him struggling, him clawing his way to the top and becoming one of the best, and kind of their way of reintroducing that story to the American audience. You know, those who seen the 5-star matches with Okada and the clips, the Meltzer clips and all that shit. So, you know, they definitely do have to reintroduce some of these characters, and they are introducing a fucking whole roster of talent to mainstream audience. Allie, you know, she was on Impact. No one's gonna know fucking Allie from Impact, but here she is in AEW, and I think she's doing great.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. And again, I'm not watching a ton of other stuff, so my frame of reference, like, I can't compare it to what's going on Raw or SmackDown right now, or even NXT, really, because I know what's going on in NXT, but I'm not watching a ton of NXT. So basically all I watch right now is AEW and New Japan, and I am thoroughly enjoying AEW because, yeah, Taco, you said it right. They're doing things right for the most part, and things that are getting a lot of negativity, they're adjusting on. They're listening to their audience. So if there's a ton of negativity on the Nightmare Collective, they dropped it. You know, and they've toned down some stuff with the Dark Order. The Dark Order is still there, but they've toned some stuff down, and it feels like there's a bigger story going on. Like, who's going to be the Exalted One in the Dark Order? Is it going to be Marty Scurll? Is it going to be Matt Hardy? You know, that kind of stuff going on. And like you said too, Taco, like the Kenny Omega thing. It's not about Kenny Omega right now. Kenny Omega is a tag team champion, and they're doing a really good job with their tag team division. But right now, the story's about Hangman Adam Page. I am fucking loving this Hangman Adam Page story. If you remember, if you go back to the All In preview, I'm sure I talked about it there. But like going into All In or All Out, excuse me, I was just 100% behind Hangman Page. Like, I've been a fan of this guy for a couple of years, just following him coming up out of Ring of Honor, and when he kind of joined being the elite guys, joined the Bullet Club or whatever, you know, it was a slow burn with him, and it took a long time for people to come around on him, and him not getting that national exposure. You know, I was a fan of him before. A lot of other people. I'm a Hangman Page hipster. Is what I'm trying to say.
Sure I got.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Taco?
He's the only micro brawler I have out of Pro Wrestling Tees is Hangman Page.
Nice. But yeah, going into All In, I'm like, this motherfucker's going to come out on a horse, and goddamn it, if he doesn't win that championship, it's not going to be. And when I was in the building when he made that entrance, I was fucking amazed, but I was also humbled. I heard the reaction and saw the reaction to Hangman Page. I'm like, Jericho's the bigger star. It's Jericho's time. But what they're doing is so fucking smart with this guy. They're building him up. He's becoming this huge star in AEW right now. And who knows, maybe they're going to build this up over the entire year, and next year, or later this year, I should say, at the next All Out, maybe Hangman Page is the guy that finally beats Jericho after a year of Jericho holding the title. I could see that happening. It's already happening now. This guy is getting so much over with all of his cowboy shit. I'm just loving it, and I'm just really digging what they're doing week to week on the shows. You know, people talk about the women's division and not being as talented as like an NXT or certainly main roster WWE, but they're working on it, and they're working hard, and they're getting behind the right people, I think, and they're really trying. And so I'm
Well, it's the same as NXT, honestly. I think you got to give it time. Like I said, I keep thinking that they're gonna run out of women, like it keeps like thinning out, but then like another wrestler comes, like with the right training and the right coaches. Like, I mean, you've got a lot of really good people that can make that division really good. So give it time. Let them build the characters. Let them build the matches. Let them build the rivalries. We don't even really have any rivalries besides Nyla and Rio.
Well, they got a couple of things going on now, but the development of Britt Baker turning heel, you got Big Swole on the come up now, and so there's some talent there, and there's some interesting stories going on. So I think they're doing a pretty good job as far as that goes, and all the other undercard stuff. I'm just digging everything that they're doing, and it's a satisfying television experience watching the show for the most part. They've had a couple of duds here and there. They had the one with the Dark Order attack like right before Christmas or whatever it was at the end of the show, and again, like I said, they have adjusted from that point. But they do a really good job of getting heat where they need to get heat, but also paying things off in a satisfying way, especially with the Cody story. You know, him getting the 10 lashes from MJF, but then him coming back this week in that fucking cage match with Wardlow, and him doing that giant moonsault off the top and fucking killing Wardlow. I loved it, and I love the fact that there's no escape clause. You got to pin or submit the guy in the cage. That's what a cage match should be. Joe's gonna fucking contest me on this bullshit, but Joe, you're wrong. You're full of shit.
You're wrong.
Say your piece, Joe.
No, I think that the cage, once you lock it in, you lock that door, the only way to win a cage match is escape. There's no pin. There's no escaping out the door. You got to climb over that cage and escape. That is the point of a cage match.
No, that's none of my buttons aren't working here. That's not how it works. It's not what we're doing here.
Wrong.
Taco, any cage match thoughts?
I'm with you on this one. I like the idea of you having to incapacitate your opponent so hard that you're able to climb over a cage. Like, fucking, what's the point of a fucking cage? Like,
to keep you in the match, so you have to beat the guy. You can't run away. Nobody can interfere, and you have to either pin or submit your opponent. That's what I say.
See, if it's either or, I don't like when they're a combination of the two, because I also agree with you. Like, it is a good way of keeping the match contained in the match, or like in the ring. But I just like the idea of having to climb over a fucking wall to win a match. Like, and that's just the slams off of them and everything. Like, yeah, that's fun. But when we put a door on the cage and you can just leave through the front fucking door, fuck off.
The door thing is the worst.
I will say, Tommy, if you can get a chance to watch from NXT TakeOver Portland, the Dakota Kai Tegan Nox street fight, it's so much fun. That is one of the best like stories that NXT is telling, is Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox of all people.
I haven't seen a ton of it, but I know the backstory there, and yeah, that's a really fun story. So, and I hear Dakota Kai is like an impressively good heel. So,
yep, and you wouldn't suspect it of her.
You gave her the personality she needed.
Street fight, you say?
This match, anything goes.
So I was watching Sunny in Philadelphia the other day, and guess who fucking popped on my screen?
Dario
Roddy Piper.
Cueto.
Dario. I was like, oh my God.
Will you stop?
Miss him so much.
Yeah, old Dario. Wonder what he's doing these
I
days.
miss it so much. He's probably auditioning.
Probably.
On that man.
All right, what else is what's up? What else is going on here?
And Marty Scurll earlier, and he's so I don't know. He's not gonna sign with AEW or anybody, obviously, which I'm so happy about.
Smart move.
He's sticking around with Ring of Honor. He's gonna do back roll shit, and he's someone since kind of day one that's kind of believed in him, believed in himself, and I think that's so awesome that he's gonna stick around. He's gonna, have more input in Ring of Honor, which will be cool. But no,
He's on the booking committee of Ring of Honor now, so yeah.
Taking the safe route of going to the WWE training center and see what's going there, or I'm going to go with my buds and see where this AEW thing is going. No, I like that he's sticking with.
He even showed up on NWA.
Exactly, he's sticking with the Villain Enterprise thing, and the Villain Enterprise, has been fun to watch. I like that stable. I like what they're doing there, and I like that he's going over to NWA, doing that shtick over there. So
we got about 10 minutes here.
That it was a big shocker. It's not letting social media write your story. He's writing his story, and fucking mad props.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he obviously got a great deal from Ring of Honor to stay. Obviously, they opened up the Brinks truck or whatever to keep him there, which is smart of Ring of Honor. They're one of their biggest stars. But I love that it's interesting that he is able to go and work with an NWA and set up a working relationship and kind of mend a fence that had been busted there from the previous management. So him being in a management, not a management position, but a booking position, kind of mending that fence a little bit. And there's been even talk of him trying to set up a relationship with AEW as well. So there is still possibility, and we've seen it with AEW working with Jeff Cobb, who's a free agent, who is still Cobb is still working with Ring of Honor. Cobb still wants to do stuff with New Japan, and the fact that AEW is letting Chris Jericho and John Moxley, their contracts with AEW allow those guys to work with New Japan as well. Kenny Omega has the stip in his contract that even though he's an executive, vice president like the other elite guys, he can go work New Japan if New Japan ever comes calling for him. So
there was no way he wasn't getting that.
Right. So I mean, there's go ahead.
Right now, for Ring of Honor, they got I believe Ospreay's on there. I'm sure Cobb's going to be on there. Fucking, so it's going to be a kind of a clusterfuck of all three promotions. It sounds like.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I think it's going to be just be New Japan and Ring of Honor guys on the Supercard show you're talking about for WrestleMania weekend. But yeah, I mean that was something that we weren't sure of if New Japan was going to allow their guys to go do that Ring of Honor show, and all of a sudden now that they've announced a bunch of those guys, it sounds like a much more interesting show.
We have fucking Jay White versus Marty Scurll on there. We're gonna have Jeff Cobb and Dan Maff against Kenta and Ishimori. Cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, were you gonna throw something in there?
No, I actually didn't say a thing, but yeah, I'll talk. Why not? Fuck yeah.
This is great podcasting.
Come on, we're rusty, man. No, I will bring up, since we only have a few minutes left, last night I went to a nerd hip-hop show.
Oh, yes.
And I saw a guy called Nerdy, NUR-D. He spelled that like 15 times, I will say that, on stage to make sure you get it right. But this guy raps about so much wrestling, and it makes me so happy. Like, we walked into a song called Tyler Breeze.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Joe, wait for me.
Taco, say it again.
I told you about this cat before. Way to listen to me, Joe.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome though. Nerd shit, wrestling shit. He's a good guy. super humble.
Yeah.
He actually made him tacos a few times.
Nice. That doesn't surprise me that he would show up there. I was happy. He had he's like I'm gonna be selling merch in the back corner. I got like 5 shirts in a bag. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, he's super chill.
But yeah, I had to bring him up. NUR-D. Check him out.
Yeah,
definitely lots of wrestling.
I've heard a couple of his songs on a local radio station, and I didn't realize he was like a big wrestling fan. But then you shouted him out on Twitter today, Joe, and he fucking replied with like the big Bullet Club Too Sweet thing in the ring or whatever. I thought that was really cool.
Like I said, I mean, he's one of the nicest people. I mean, every person I met at that show last night was nice, but he was probably the nicest person there the whole night. He stayed for the whole show. He was jamming out to everybody and talking to people nonstop. Definitely worth the watch too, to go out for a show. I think he's got one coming up at the Fine Line on March 27th.
So yeah, Minneapolis people, make sure to check him out at the Fine Line. So all right. What else is going on? What else are we talking about here?
Trying to think. I mean, the problem is that there was so much, it's hard to just pinpoint one specific thing. I mean, let's talk about Edge, for God's sakes. I mean, fucking Edge is back. I mean, yeah, part-time, but who cares if it's part-time? The feels I got when he entered, and I'm sure everybody got it. Everybody has their own feeling, but and seeing his face, just that moment of it, all walking over him, this is happening again. It was very satisfying. Long story, whether or not you knew he was coming back either.
Here's something I'm loving about that, and it is what's going on between Orton and Hardy right now.
Yes, that is a good story.
Kind of put over Edge's story right now. It's Matt Hardy, and if you want to talk about long storytelling, those two history with each other, personal history with each other, and to see where they're at in today's day and world, and Matt Hardy on his way out of the E, and coming back, a week or two to kind of further along this Edge story. It's fucking beautiful, man. It's so awesome to see that. So. I don't think a lot of people are kind of saying noticing that online or anything, that Matt Hardy of all people is the one continuing the story. And to me, that's fucking awesome. And it's easy to be so negative on what the E's doing. And when they do something so simple like that, I was fucking right. This is why I love wrestling.
And yet all you hear is about the WWE, that they're shitting on Matt before he leaves and blah, blah, blah. Like you said, it's just so damn negative. And it's fucking pro wrestling. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy the matches.
I'm not looking at it as E shitting on Matt Hardy on his way out. I'm looking at it as Matt Hardy sticking around to help Edge out, to help Orton out. Look how fucking over Orton is as a heel right now. And it just took 2 weeks.
Right, and Matt Hardy, he cut that promo last week or whatever, and basically set it up so that he had to come back this week, and they had to kill him again. But again, just like you said, Taco, he cuts the promo last week, they do the thing, and then he comes back again this week, and they do the thing again. But just like you said, fucking Orton's over as this huge heel now, and he's going to have the match with Edge at Mania, and it's going to get over fucking huge.
And that's not even counting Free the Delete, which I has been really fun to watch.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for it. Where'd I put it?
Absolutely.
We were talking about Santa Slay earlier.
Yes. So a quick story. My wife and I were going through a bunch of DVDs the other day looking for stuff to get rid of or whatever, and we come across the copy of Santa's Slay starring Goldberg, a Christmas horror movie with Goldberg as a Jewish man as Santa Claus. Apparently, I have not watched this movie, and I said, let's get rid of it, throw it away. I'm not going to watch this. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. Let's use it as a decoration in the podcast studio. But then I spent all this time. I cleaned the podcast studio. I dusted. I erased the dry erase board that had not been erased in a year and a half. And neither of you show up. Everybody's on the phone via satellite with this awful feedback. And so but nevertheless, I have a copy of Santa's Sleigh waiting for you guys to look at.
Well, and I just need to point out that the point of this story is that Santa was a demon who lost a bet to an angel, and he had to be nice for 1,000 years. Well, the 1,000 years are up, and so he goes and kills people.
I love that Jewish man is dressed up like Santa killing people. How fucking great is that?
Like, it's amazing. I'm pretty sure if I'm like correct, I'm pretty sure he kills a stripper with a stripper pole.
Well, since we're on the topic of Bill Goldberg, what do you guys feel about Fiend and Goldberg? I don't care if it's in Saudi Arabia or whatever, just the match itself.
I'm interested to see what did this already happen? I honestly have not been paying attention.
That's going to be at Saudi Arabia in like a week or two. Next
Okay, so it
Thursday.
hasn't happened.
Next Thursday, I think.
I think if they can do it right, but I don't think Goldberg should win, obviously. I mean, I want the Fiend to win, but I think Goldberg has to at least test the Fiend, have that Goldberg strength, that little extra bit that some people don't have. So he might have a little bit, but I don't think Fiend's got to walk out of that with that title.
I got zero interest in the Fiend. I don't like the red light thing. The only one that's gotten a decent match out of the Fiend has been Daniel Bryan, and I don't know. It sounds like a 2-minute squash match, but I don't know. What do you think, Taco?
I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not gonna go out my way to watch the match, but I love the idea of. Honestly, I'm not a Goldberg fan. Never have been. I've tried. Just not my forte. I actually went back and watched a few matches. The most interesting thing Goldberg has ever done for me is that Stone Cold podcast he did on the network. It was so fucking good. It was worth the watch, and it was kind of cool to get his insight on some of these matches that he was going through. I didn't realize how green he was his whole WCW career.
Oh yeah,
it was brutal.
So it was kind of fun to see where his mindset and how like who was it? Regal, who just sandbagged him the whole fucking match and just fucking made him win that match. Like fucking hilarious to watch. But I like the idea of the Fiend being so indestructible right now and him going up against someone like Goldberg, because that goes into the Fiend character. To me, it makes sense that they are doing a match like this from someone who had such a dominant a good streak, in his career.
Dominating streak.
Yep. So, I do like the idea of it. It just sucks that it's fucking Goldberg to me, but it
feels like a Goldberg payday in Saudi Arabia, and they've been building up this Fiend thing the whole year, and it's going to end up being Roman Reigns winning the Elimination Chamber and challenging the Fiend at WrestleMania. And that's just what it feels like. So
you can't do that no more.
Can't do what no more?
You can't. There's no negativity on the Roman, the big dog.
I don't know if there is or not, but that's what it feels like.
That honestly, that's probably what's gonna happen. I'm more interested in the women's SmackDown women's Raw Elimination Chamber than I am in Roman Reigns winning.
Isn't there something kind of weird going on there? Because Becky is already like doing something or like challenging or like talking shit about Shayna Baszler, but they're going to have an elimination chamber to determine who the contender for her is.
They're doing the WWE thing of like they brought Shayna in, and I think they brought her in too early, but they feel like they've got to get her settled in and tell the story leading up to WrestleMania. But they should have waited, honestly.
Why don't they just do Becky and Shayna and do an elimination chamber for Bayley? Because who's going to challenge Bayley?
Naomi.
Okay.
She's feeling the glow, man.
So why not have Naomi win a SmackDown?
2 minutes remaining.
You can't look at the Shayna Baszler thing like the WWE brought Shayna Baszler in. No, fucking Shayna Baszler brought herself in. That's why she attacked her like that. Like keep kayfabe alive a little bit, and so I'm not against them being like, okay, you want to be here? Well, you're gonna have to earn your title shot, even though look at the streak, her title her whole title reign, she definitely earned it. But no, it's the Elimination Chamber. It's obviously she's gonna have to win the thing to face Becky, and that's gonna be awesome. But putting Shayna Baszler in there, and the storyline that's going on with former Riot Squad members, cool. Let's let them bang it out too. And I think everyone's mad because Kairi Sane's not in it, and Asuka, they both of them earned their spot in there. But it's whatever. Like the people the ladies that they got in there, they got
All right, well, we're down to 1 minute left, so we got to get to the Kojima tweet.
Now it's time for the Satoshi Kojima Tweet of the Week.
All right, it's been a while since Kojima tweeted in English. There were a couple of okay ones. I had to really scroll down and go back, but I did find a pretty good one from February 6, 2020. And you can follow Kojima on Twitter at cozy_lariat. Hello. Several days have passed since returning to Japan. The jet lag was also cured. I also eat bread. I also work out. I want to fight soon. I'm hungry. Eat bread.
Yes.
So that's
that's a pretty easy schedule to follow.
Indeed it is. So
There it is! 60 minutes has expired!
Well, that's the end of the show. You can
work.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'll put social media links in the description. I don't think anybody's gonna listen to this since we haven't done a podcast in 6 months. So I'll just put some links in the description. If you want to email the podcast, I don't know why you would, because even when we had a few hundred listeners, nobody ever emailed the show. But just in case you do, you can email the show at myliverpodcast@gmail.com. Or if you want to type more letters, you can go 60-minute time limit @gmail.com. So there's some emails, and Twitter links are in the description. Do you want to get some stuff in there, Joe?
I just want to say that Dave is definitely going to listen to this.
Okay. Taco, you want to get anything in here before we get out of here?
Eat ass.
You really should.
That's a great way to end of the show. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.